Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first training session for this week. Our topic for today is going to be professionalism in the workplace. I am Shauna K. Harvey, your trainer. Before we go on, I'd like to get to know your name so that I can address you by names in the session. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself.
I'm Chevelle Gordon.
I'm Charmaine.
I'm Alia.
Hello, I'm Derica.
Hello, I'm Janice.
Hello, I'm Marsha.
All right, so thank you and welcome, everyone. I hope that this session will prove to be very informative for you. All right, now the objectives that we want to meet in this session are: one, we want to define key terms related to professionalism in the workplace, at least 3 of them. We would like to assess the appropriateness of specific components of professionalism, such as behavior, dress, communication, etc., in given scenarios or case studies. And the third objective we would like to meet today is to model positive professional behavior, such as appropriate response to conflicting opinions, or right? So we'll meet these objectives by going through case studies and doing activities. All right, so before we get into it, I want you guys to work in pairs to define what you think professionalism is. So please go ahead and just pick something quickly, prior knowledge, and tell me what you think professionalism is.
Martian, I think that professionalism has to do with the competence and skills needed to complete a specific task.
All right, good. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to share?
And for me, Miss, I think professionalism not only have to do with the skills and the competence, but it have to do with the overall characteristics that the person entails. Like, for example, honesty and integrity.
Very good. Thank you, Charmaine. Anyone else like to share?
I do also believe that your appearance and how you carry yourself kind of leads to professionalism. A professional persons will expect you to dress a certain way, to speak a certain dialect. So I do believe your appearance and how you carry yourself contributes to professionalism.
Excellent. Thank you guys for participating. You hit the definition right on the reinforce. We're going to watch a video, and after the video, we'll have a short discussion. So just go ahead and video on professionalism for me. All right, great. Now that we have watched the video, I hope you noticed that some of the things that you had mentioned came out in the video. Is there anything that you didn't mention or didn't think of that have to do with professionalism that you saw in this video?
Accountability, Miss, that was there.
Very good. Excellent. And as we move along, you notice that these things will come up more during the session, right? There are some key terms that were mentioned. Some of them you already mentioned, but what we're going to do now, we're going to go through those key terms, and I'm going to ask you guys to, as best as possible, tell me what you think they mean.
Okay.
So, Miss, when you talk about honesty, honesty is a moral character that emphasizes virtuous attributes such as integrity, trustfulness, and straightforwardness. So, as you can see, it really ties in with integrity. So, honesty and integrity goes hand in hand because integrity looks at the quality of being honest and having a strong moral principle.
Very good, Alia. Anybody else would like to share?
Okay, the term that I'll be working with is competent. And to be competent is the ability to do a job or a task successfully. Yes.
Very good, Charmaine. I agree with you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share?
The chat.
Oh, I'm seeing where Derica wrote her response in the chat. She said, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and defeat conflict. Very good, Derica. Right. Very good, Derica. So I must say responses were very good. What we're going to do now, we're going to look at a scenario. These are scenarios that take place in the workplace. So I'm going to ask you to read them, and then we'll come back and discuss. You have about 1 to 2 minutes to do so. All right, guys, I think we should have completed reading that by now. We're going to start a discussion. I am going to put some questions on the screen. I'm going to ask that you just volunteer to answer one of these questions.
Okay, Miss. Based on this scenario, the question was asked, do you think Rick was responsible? I said that to some extent he was approachable.
Right.
All right. Miss Rick response. I think he was sort of unprofessional, brash. When he asked, what can I help you with? That's not a question. I don't think that question was appropriate to Lance. Just yes, sir, and let Lance speak.
Very good, Marsha. Very good observation. Anybody else want to respond to C and D?
Yes, Miss. For C, I think Lance was understanding and he was also calm and patient. And for D, I think they both felt good after the conversation.
Excellent. Very good. I can see that you guys are understanding based on your responses from the scenario. Great. All right, guys. So we have in front of us another scenario based on professionalism. I'm going to ask that you guys read the scenario, then we'll facilitate a group discussion based on what was read, right? So about a minute or two to read this, and then we will have a group discussion. Right. All right. So the questions are on screen, so we're going to go ahead, look at them, and we'll facilitate the group discussion accordingly.
Okay, Miss. For me, based on the scenario that was there and the question that is being asked, do you think Elsie dressed appropriately for the interview? Why or why not? For me, Miss, I think she did not dress appropriately. For one reason, the skirt that she had on was too big and it was baggy, so she was not comfortable in it.
Right. Very good. Very good. Very good response. So who wants to look at the second question that we're discussing?
I do. It says, do you think that Elise's responses to Mr. Gonzalez's questions were appropriate? Why or why not? I think her responses were inappropriate because she had mentioned something about her personal life, which had nothing to do with the job. And the fact that she mentioned it shows that the date with her boyfriend was of more importance to her than having the interview with Mr. Gonzalez.
Very good response, Janice. Very good. And I must say, I agree with you. What about the third question? Anybody want to tackle that one?
Yes, Miss. C says, from Mr. Gonzalez's responses, what do you think his first impression of Elise was? Miss, she not getting the job. Mr. Gonzalez is saying she's a joker and she doesn't want to work and she's very unprofessional.
Very good response. And the last one. For the last one.
All right, Miss. How important are first impressions?
Right.
They have a saying that you have one chance to make a first impression, and this impression was not lack of words to say. It wasn't a good impression. She was unprofessional. She was distracted, and you cannot. It's going to hurt her in the long run if it is the way she is. So first impressions are very important, and not just for interviews, for dealing with persons as well. First impression always or most times last, and you don't have a chance to make a second impression most of the time.
Very good, Marcia. Very good response, guys. I must say, I see that a lot of thought was put into these responses. Excellent.
Miss, I want to ask a question because I have been going to work and I have seen other colleagues. They will sit aside and gossip with other persons, gossip about somebody else. Is that being professional, Miss? Although it might be true what they're saying, but is it professional to do that?
All right, good question, Charmaine. Do you remember when we discussed the terms emotional intelligence?
Yes, Miss.
Right. It's where the person here, staff members are gossiping about him or her. They won't think about that. She or he won't think about that, and her feelings will get hurt. So once it's a case where it's going to hurt someone else's feelings and might cause conflict in the workplace, then I don't think it's ever a good idea to gossip in the workplace. But good question.
Okay, Miss. Yeah. Miss, I have a friend and we work together and almost on a Friday, Miss, when persons want to go home early, and every Friday, Miss, she'll leave work at least 20 minutes before the time. Is that being honest? Isn't she taking away some of the time that she's supposed to be working?
You're right. It's not honest, and I have seen that behavior practiced as well. And it is lying, because at the end of the day, if the boss asks you what time you left, I'm pretty sure you won't say that you left work 1:30. Then you'd have to lie. So, but most times when you get a job, you sign a contract and you sign off to work for certain hours. So if you disobey that contract, or if you don't follow that contract, for want of a better word, then it can be said that you're being dishonest. Integrity will be questioned.
Okay, Miss. So you're saying that professionalism includes all of that: being honest, being accountable, and respect for others too.
Yes, have to.
Okay,
and you're confident. Sometimes people are very confident. And that's excellent. You need to be confident, but you have to be very careful of how you interact with people in the workplace, even with your high level of confidence, because it might come off wrong to some people. So you have to be very aware of people's feelings as a part of being a professional.
Okay, Miss. Thanks very much.
Right. All right. So now that we have gone through the scenarios and you guys seem to have a fair understanding what is expected from you in the workspace, I have some pictures here, and I just want you to simply respond by telling me whether the behavior in the picture is professional or unprofessional and why you believe so. All right, so does anyone want to volunteer to take the first one?
Okay, so Janice
Alright,
wants to
I
go.
think this is unprofessional
Unprofessional.
behavior, because if we get tired at work, but if it is that you must sleep, I think that it would be appropriate to excuse yourself from the workspace and take a break a 5-minute break in the lounge.
Very good. And I agree with you, Janice. Very good response. What about the next one? Let's move to the second one. Is this professional attire or not?
Yes,
Yes,
miss. I do believe this is professional. They're dressed for the part, and they're
Very good.
smiling, so their attitude and so forth. I think
Excellent.
it's professional.
Very good. And their faces look welcoming. So they look like someone you would speak to if you step into the office. Very good. And let's look at the third one. What about this? Professional or unprofessional?
Professional.
Professional.
Very good.
Would that haircut be a professional one?
In some organizations it is, while in others it isn't. So I guess it depends on the company.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Erica. That's exactly what I was going to say. Good job. And our final picture.
Wow.
Very unprofessional.
Very unprofessional.
Right. It looks
That's
as if
boss behavior.
very good. All right. So very good. So based on your responses and based on your responses and what you said about these pictures, I think that we are equipped with the necessary information to move on to individual activities, right? All right, so we'll be doing a pop quiz. It's everybody's favorite thing to do. So I'm going to assign you guys the quiz now, and then you have about 15 minutes to complete this quiz. Please go ahead and work on that. All right, I'm seeing where everyone responded to the quiz and your grades are looking good. Based on these responses, I must say I feel satisfied that we have all learned about professionalism. We have a few more activities to do. We have a puzzle and also have a role play to do that we'll be doing in our next session. So I'm going to place you in your groups from now for the role play, and you'll do the puzzle as individual assignments and bring them to our next session. All right, guys, we are now going to do a quick recap what we have learned. Does anyone want to share a concept that they learned from today's proceeding?
Yes, miss. I learned that professionalism not only entails your job, the job that you do, but everything else, your character and all the characteristics that it entails, like honesty, integrity, etc.
Very good, very good, very good, Charmaine. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share?
Yes, miss, I agree with Charmaine based on what she has said, where professionalism not only includes your character, I think it has to do with your whole approach, the way you carry yourself, and your whole demeanor.
Very good, excellent. I also agree with you, Alia. Very good. Anything else?
Miss Janice raised her hand.
Yes, Janice, anything else you'd like to say?
Yes, miss. Professionalism has to do with the teamwork, your ability to work in teams, and it's very important that we are emotionally intelligent to maintain good relationship in the workplace, and that will enhance the productivity.
Very good, Janice. Excellent. Excellent responses. I must say, I'm feeling proud today to know that you guys learned so much from today. Anything else? Anybody else would like to share?
No,
all right. All right. So thank you again for coming to this session. And I trust that what we learned today will be applied to our everyday professional lives. Enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, miss.
Bye.
Bye.